Hi everyone, I'm going to be making a video blog about switching over my ferrets to a raw diet. Hopefully this will help some of you out, but first I have to introduce you to my boys. Trousers, Oscar, and Pants. All of my ferrets are under a year old. Hoping will make this a lot easier to switch them over to a raw diet because of the olfactory imprint that they have. An olfactory imprint is basically if a ferret isn't introduced to a food before 6 months to a year of age, they will not recognize it as food. My boys is that they are free roaming ferrets, which means they do have a cage with food and water and a hammock, which they do occasionally go in, but for the most part they just hang out in this master bedroom, which is all for them. I did feed them last night and throughout the night. When I came in this morning, their food was gone, which means they ate all of it. And before you introduce them to raw food, you're going to want to wait 3 to 4 hours before you introduce them to a new type of food. They have a very short digestive system, and their intestines don't contain a cecum, which means that after 3 or 4 hours, when they've passed their stool, their food is completely digested. So it's been over 3 hours and they're ready to try their new diet. Another thing I'm going to document is the change in stools. I know that that's kind of yucky, but it is an important part. The raw diet does ensure that there is less bowel movements and the bowel movements are smaller because they're absorbing more of the food, as opposed to a kibble diet where they're really not absorbing much of anything. This is one night, 12, well, I'd say more 8 hours of poop for my 3 boys. And as you can see, there's a lot of it. And the poops are really big. Now, what I used for my first recipe is a soupy recipe. You can find fantastic recipes and even mentors on the Holistic Ferret Forum or the Holistic Ferret group on Facebook. What you want to do is start them off at a soupy consistency. Now, what you don't want to do is mix this soupy consistency in with their kibble. Like I said earlier, you don't want their kibble to be in their digestive system at the same time as the raw. So the soupy consistency and the first batch of food that I made is what I'm going to be introducing them to over the next couple of weeks. So I did make a lot of it. I made servings and I put them in freezer bags so I can just de-thaw them while I'm going to feed them. Made over the next week consistencies that are very, very soupy to a little bit thicker. What I used, it was recommended to me to use ground turkey, egg yolks, egg shells, and you just want to blend it up. If you have one of those bullets or a blender, you want to make it really, really fine consistency. You don't want chunks of eggshell in the mixture. I'm going to start with this today. I've been letting it de-thaw, and we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try Oscar first because he's my newest ferret. He is the youngest, and he's usually pretty interested in new things. As you can see, wow, he's actually lapping it right up, which is very uncommon. Well, that's fantastic. He's taking right to the raw. Now, that's very rare. I would not expect that at home. This is usually a very, very tedious process from... I'm going to try Pants because Pants, although he is the oldest, he's a little less stubborn than Trousers. He doesn't really want any part of this right now. Put a little bit on your finger. It on their gums. Now we're going to try Trousers, and I'm almost certain he is not going to want any part of this. I can try to dab a little bit on his nose. He's backing away. That's okay. It does take, get off the keyboard. It does take a while to get them used to it. Get them used to the smell and the taste. You're going to want to do this with your ferrets 3 times a day. So this is my third attempt today. I was advised by someone to add liver into the concoction to make sure that they are getting the balanced protein amount that they need. Another thing I did want to mention is one of the things that I was hesitant about in putting my ferrets on a raw diet, which is, of course, E. coli, salmonella. The reading I've done, basically ferrets don't really contract that. From what I've read, it has something to do with the fact that they do have such a short digestive system, so it doesn't really have time to affect their bodies. If you did want to learn more about that, you can check the links that I will post at the end of the video.